Well, welcome back to the channel. Today we are in Audlem having a look at the graveyard, which is a managed Audlem burial committee. It's a mouthful, isn't it? It is actually a cemetery because it's not owned by the church, but hopefully we can have a look at the church just down the road. Presumably at one time this was a church, so it's very sort of ornate. We've got the typical guards on the doors, the little heads there, and rather a magnificent, I don't know what you'd call it really. It's quite sort of unique, all in 3D. And that walks us through to the main cemetery. Now the key thing about this is the best kept cemetery we've ever come across. Taking into account it's winter and obviously there's lots of leaves, but the whole area, we've never seen such a well kept cemetery. There's about a million flies, but nevertheless. And it is growing. But literally you can play bowls on the graves, the grass is so well kept. Apparently it's a problem because the volunteers come and do it, and one comes on Monday and gets a couple of quid, and another one comes on Tuesday and gets a couple of quid. So it does cost them a bit more than they want to pay really, but give them credit where credit's due. I mean, you can look round and everything's perfect, isn't it? Taking into account that it is actually winter. And we've got a magnificent grave here. Phoebe Stewart Kendall, 20th, 1928. That's some standout grave. And we're just round the new graves area, just picking out one or two that are outstanding. There's another big cross there. One at the back. There's a couple of old graves, but this is mostly sort of new graves. There's a big one that's certainly got a lean to it. And these are always brilliant. These 18, is that 06 or 36? These are the best graves going. They seem to just last forever, these do. Another old one, I don't know whether we can read it. 1928. Another big Celtic cross. The last time I was here, somebody was digging a grave for somebody that was still alive, and he wanted his grave and reserve his spot while he was still alive, which was a bit different. I just pick out one or two graves that sort of do stand out. There's one there with a teddy bear. Well, there's one very unusual grave. I've only ever seen this one. I've never seen any like this before. And that's this one. I don't know whether this is actually glass. It certainly sounds like glass. It could be plastic, but I've never seen one like that before. And how long it's going to last is another matter, but it's certainly different. So we're going to have a look at the old graves in a minute, but just having a quick spin round here. They really do take a lot of pride in this cemetery. Can't actually see it at the moment, but they have planted a load of trees. There's one here that really stands out. And they've expanded it a bit down here, but they've put on all these new trees and sort of landscaping the area. See all the new trees down here. So they do take a bit of pride, which is unusual in a cemetery. That's why it's always my opinion this is one of the best ones I've ever come across, and I've done thousands of them for Mr. Google Maps. Again, all new ornamental trees. I'm assuming you can have your name on the trees because there's lots of plaques at the base of the trees, so presumably you can have your name on it. Yeah, because I can't quite read that, but they're sort of planting a tree as a grave. The river, well, canal's just over there, and there's this big memorial here. I'm trying to listen to what the hell's going on there. Wildlife having a right fun and game. This is rather unique, nice little memorial with a seat. Obviously not particularly good at the moment, but in the summer it's a lovely place to sit. I don't know what the attraction is, but is it Canada geese or something, but they're all going that way anyway. The memorial is actually this area is dedicated to memory of 8 young friends who tragically lost their lives October 1994, forever young. So it's sort of dedicated to them. Right, we're going to have a look at some of the old graves now. You can see the church at the back, we'll be going there hopefully in a. We're at the old section. Obviously we can't do every grave, but again if you go on Google Maps I've photographed virtually every grave. Just one that stands out here. In memory of a Thursday at innocent priest, born 1834, vicar of Audlem from 1865 to 1895, honours as Canon of Chester Cathedral 1880. Going back to 1870, 1897. Now this is quite a magnificent one, but I can't really make it out. It goes back to 1881. It's obviously sort of high status, but you can't really read it very well. It's Emily Claudine Lisa, is it? He's going back to 1882. (1881). 1891. 1930. 'Say I'm skipping over them, otherwise we'd be here all day and then the video had gone forever. So, well, I say virtually every grave here, I think, I've photographed from Google Maps if you want to actually read some of the graves. Just trying to find the most prominent ones. This is 1881. So was this originally a church? And this was actually a graveyard in this consecrated ground, and it's now been taken over. 1879. That one certainly hasn't lasted very well, has it? There's quite a posh one there. That's I mean, that's a fair bit across, that is. There's a bit of weight in that one. They're all 1800s, these. (1895). Again, we see these sort of magnificent graves that do seem to last like forever. This is 1882. That's almost a tomb, isn't it? These solid on the floor graves seem to last. Quite an unusual one, and that's been quite nice in its day. Again, you can't really read it, but that one certainly stands out. 1885, 88 years. So they did last, you know, have a good life even in the 1800s. (1877), 1885, another solid one. That's two together, one there and one there, which is a bit different because it's sort of empty underneath. Again, you cannot really make it out. There's one or two war graves about. That's one war grave there. They certainly want to a spruce up. It's 1917 and there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 more war graves down there. Still in the 1800s, 1892. See the influence of the local stonemason. There's a lot here almost identical how they're made. There's one there very ornate, 1906. See, they're all virtually identical, give or take a bit. That'll be down to the local stonemason. Now there is a unusual one here. Memorial to unmarked graves between the year 1876 and 1951. Many were buried as paupers with their fees being met by the parish council. These graves were discovered in 2003 and the ground beneath which they lie made good. The names of these forgotten persons are inscribed herein in lasting memory. So there's a fair few there, going some 1884, 1883. There's a lot. There's one there 5 weeks old, 1929, 2 months old, 3 weeks old, 4 years old, a lot of children. Really sad, isn't it, though? Nothing on that side. One day old, 1940, 16 months, 1882. So a fair variety there. And you can see the sort of nature of the place. It's a lovely sort of view. On the other side of the, because there's like two, that one and this one, of old grave. So we're going down the other side and we're trying to work out, just talking to some locals, whether this was originally consecrated ground and a church, and we seem to think probably it was. Because these two sections look as though it was the original church. And again, we're still in the 1800s. There's one there 1925, but most of them are still the 1800s. That must be a family one because it goes back to 1887 and 1889 and then in 1951. Another very big one there. That one's very well, the top bit's very good but the lettering's gone. That's 1967, so that must have cost a bob or two. Still 1800s, 1897, it's almost exclusively sort of 1800s. Almost everyone I'm looking at is still in the 1800s. Yeah, one there, 1882. That's 1914, 1961. That's a bit later on, 1908. Can't make that out whether it's 1817 or 1917. It might be 1917 because the one behind is that sort of age, 1900s. 1936 there, and sort of a newish one sort of tucked in the middle of it. I mean, it's magnificent now from 1800s, and these graves are still readable, a lot of them, and still standing. And it's quite distinct that there's the two separate lots, the 1800s and old graves and the new graves, and it's only a small village, so there's a lot of graves for a comparatively very small village. And it's just nice to see the odd one that's a bit different, because we've gone to the stage where we had these magnificent graves, some of them absolutely fantastic, and then we come back and they're all pretty much the same. Sometimes you get like that glass one that's a bit different. We've now moved round to the church, and we've got this old mill wheel here. It does actually tell us what it is somewhere. Millennium Wheel. Can't read it very well. I mean, it's very dominant, this church in the village. It really stands high up and does occupy all the space. We're hoping it's going to be open, because very often it is. We believe the cemetery that now is, as it's divided in two bits, was originally part of this church. We've got a bare stone granite boulder left here in the Ice Age, and the butter market here was 1733. So this is the main, or one of the main entrances. There's not many graves here, but the actual graves here are laid flat. One's upside down, 1845. It just seems so disrespectful to have to walk on the graves to get to the church. That's another story. It's actually locked there, but I think it might be open round the other side. Whether I'm a bit early. There's a couple of graves there that are really uncared for. There's a war memorial. Get here without breaking my neck. 1914-18 more. It looks as though the main church may be open. Again, a lot of these flat ones. There's not really that many graves. So the church is open. It's very dark at the moment, but whether the lights will come on in a minute, sometimes they're activated when you walk around. I always like the stained glass windows. Another little small, often these are sort of lady chapels. The main window, no sign of any lights coming on, so I'm struggling a bit with the light here, but doesn't seem to be doing too badly. These paintings, or however they do it, are magnificent, really. I wonder why they always made them so, ceilings so high. Probably weren't bothered about heating costs back in those days. But another small little prayer room or lady chapel. Font and original pulpit. Goes back to the 17th century. An old chest there. And the candles there, fair old, lot of candles. The organ. And why there's a bear here dressed up I don't quite know, but lots of interesting signs there, if we can read them in the dark. There's trying to see what that was. It was like a crown. Something there going back to 1617. More magnificent windows. It's nice when they actually open the church. I mean, years ago that was the thing, but there's so many nowadays where people will come in and nick stuff, and I can't imagine really that any religious artefact is worth that much. I mean, bare metal value. Well, it doesn't stop anybody coming in and nicking it. I'm presuming that's up to the belfry. The kitchen there. And it's just how modern churches are getting, where you can pay with your credit card now. Well, that's the inside of the church, so it's lovely to see them open. It does cost a small fortune, especially in winter, to eat this. You can imagine, couldn't you? It costs you 10 quid to eat your house. What does it cost to eat this? Well, back outside the church, and we'll just have a wander in the grounds. There's not really a lot to see in the grounds. We've got a couple of tombs. Seems to have survived and still be in the church. Can't really sort of make it out. Aged 65 years, homeland, December 1903. (1881) So it does look like a family tomb, and these are fairly substantial. Unfortunately the lettering's not done so good, but the fair old bit of brick. Again, they probably planted this tree when they were buried. 1855. (1861). Just a couple down there. Oh, it does give us a magnificent view of Audlem. I think they're having problems at the bus service. They've stopped the bus service to Audlem, so if you live in Audlem and you ain't got a car, you're knackered. It's all very steep here. So if I can get down to the steps without breaking my neck. Again, you're walking on tombstones. There's a little door there. I wonder what that was, because if you come out of there, you're going to fall. And we've got our ancient mass dial. It was there to indicate the times of the church opening. Most of these tombstones you can't read anymore. There's one big one there, that must be fairly high status, because the closer you can get to the church, the closer you are to God. I just want to check the time. Don't know how long this has been here, but obviously a sundial, which isn't working today because we've got no sun. That brings us back round to the front of the building. A few nice flowers on it and what have you.